Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started today. I'll just give a quick overview on the agenda. This morning, we're going to have Atos Global give our introduction, and then from there, Milestone Systems will give their introduction along with a product overview and an overview on Marketplace. And then from there on, Video Storage Solutions will then go provide an introduction along with our value proposition, understanding Milestone's recording engine and storage architecture, an overview on VS Storage Accelerator for Milestone, the product portfolio, and all the support offerings. Today's webinar speakers will be Mr. Siddharth Mehta from Atos Global, the director, Kalpesh Khania, the solutions consultant from Milestone, Mr. Rohit Khubchandani, the regional sales director for the Middle East, Turkey, Africa, and India for Video Storage Solutions, and myself, Wesley Varughese, BDM for Middle East, Turkey, Africa, and India. Now I'm going to hand over the presentation to Mr. Siddharth Mehta. Mr. Siddharth, the floor is yours.
Wesley, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Hello and good morning, friends. I welcome you all to this exciting webinar on maximizing the performance of your video surveillance systems as part of Atos Global's X-Invest Knowledge Series. Hence, let's connect, engage, network, and share information to equip ourselves to solve live customer problems. X-Invest and program for sharing information on technology and networking events for partners to experience the latest offering by world-renowned industry leaders and technology expert OEM partners. In this program, we do knowledge summits, product launches, training and certification program, networking and roadshows. Atos Global is a premier value-added distribution company which provides life safety, electronic security, and IT system integrators and partners state-of-art enterprise solution and services from the leading industries manufacturers of IP video surveillance, fire alarm, access control, entrance control, intrusion alarm, PA system, IBMS, and server storage products and solutions. Company has two corporate entities, one in Singapore and the other one in India. The Singapore company helps India partners to get benefits of SEZ, STPI, zero duty sale, FOB, and CIF sales. It also caters to South Asian countries partners. India company Atos Global LLP, founded in the year 2016, having national presence and offices in three major cities, namely Mumbai, Bangalore, and Delhi. Please feel free to get connected with our pre-sales representatives in these cities. Also, please do visit our website atosglobal.com for more information. Typically, we don't work like a trading company. Rather, we do much more than a traditional stock and sale model and differentiate ourselves in many ways. Some of our unique offerings are pre-sales, sales and operations, marketing and promotion, post-sale support, training and certification, and very crucial, technical support. To talk about more in detail, In these domains like pre-sales, apart from the solution preparation and site survey, we also focus on system designing and meeting partners and end users to promote the technology. Sales and operations are an important aspect of our business. We have a complete online order processing and order execution system. We have project registration, stocking system, marketing promotion. We do seminars, road shows, networking events, launches, several solution day programs, lunch and learn with the specifiers, training and certification of partners. Technical as support is an important aspect of our business where we support the partner and end user telephonically, remote assistance, on-site training, and we also have a division which focuses on paid commissioning. Post sales, which is an important aspect, also we focus in warranty support, dispatch, and tracking facility for our partner. Brands, we are having several brands categorized into 6 different categories, namely fire alarm, video surveillance, specialized products, intrusion, IBMS, and access and entrance control. In fire alarm category, we have conventional fire alarm panels, conventional detectors, devices, gas release panels, accessories, emergency door releases, addressable fire panel detectors, transparent covers and protectors, door coordinators, aspiration systems and sensing cables, etc. In access control, we have access controllers, cards readers, locks, switches, brackets, holders, etc., including power supply, access software, visitor parking software, boom barriers, P gates, turnstiles, etc. Video surveillance is an important category where we have IP video cameras offered from Vivotech, VMS software from Milestone, storage server solution from VSS and BCD video. In IBMS, we have DDC controllers from EasyIO, Loitech, lighting management system from Delta, Loitech, and BMS software from Niagara, Honeywell, EasyStack, and Loitech. PA system we do of AudioTech. Year 2019 was an important year in our business where we were regarded as Best Distributor 2019 from Milestone, India for the 3rd year in the last 4 years. We were also the highest growth partner for brands like Vivotech, HID, Edwards in India. We executed more than 250 projects through more than 500 system integrator partners. We also focused on Vivotech certification training program called as VEC, held in multiple cities with more than 20 partners. We also were part of GST fire alarm training for more than 20 partners in multiple cities. We conducted several HID day programs. We were also part of Milestone's technical certification TC1 and MCIT, where more than 30 partners got themselves trained and certified to sell and promote Milestone products. Year 2019 gave us more than 50% growth over year 2018. Below are our awards and accolades over the years. Our major business is distributed into 3 broad categories: fire alarm, video surveillance, access and entrance control products. 2020 is a very important year for us where we have new initiatives like video storage solutions, VSS, where we are going to offer server, storage, and workstation solution. We have now the partnership of one of the world's best access control products, Lenel. We are now the distributor for Extralis aspiration systems. This year, we also got tied up with ID Cube for access control products, and UK-based world-renowned fire door hardware manufacturer which offers fire door coordinator products. With this, I would like to end my part of the presentation and would like to invite Kalpesh from Milestone Systems to continue from here.
Kalpesh, if you could make sure that you're unmute.
Hello.
Perfect.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was on a mute and I will be starting again back. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Kalpesh Khania. I'm a solution consultant for Milestone India. I'll be briefing in this presentation about the Milestone introduction, about what Milestone is about the product overview, Milestone corporate architecture, and the marketplace. So Milestone system, I hope everyone knows about Milestone system. We are an open platform video management software. We are the global leader in open platform. When we talk about open platform, you get the choice of selecting more than 8,500 camera models, which are tightly integrated with Milestone. There are more than 50 brands of access control systems, more than 50 brands of video analytics, which are the top global leaders in their own field. You talk about the hardware appliances like VSS, they are our technology partners. So you are selecting best of best hardware solutions. There are lots of IP sensors, and there are lots of intrusion detections which are integrated. There are POS systems which you can integrate with Milestone. So if you can see, the Milestone is at the center point, and all our technology partners connects to us, and we give a complete solution on an open platform. I'll just brief about Milestone. We are part of Canon Group. We are 100% owned by Canon. So we are still a standalone company in Canon Group. But the complete financial backing is from the Canon. So it was acquired in 2014 by Canon. I'll just give those glance. We are available in more than 150 countries. More than 800 employees are there globally. More than 3,500 technology partners. As I mentioned, we are connected with multiple analytics partners. There are cameras, sensors. So there are more than 3,500 technology partners which we are connected with and integrated with Milestone. 8,500 cameras are right now being supported. More than 11,000 resellers which are gold, platinum, and diamond categories, and more than 500,000 installations globally, which we are there. About the products, so we have all kind of products, starting from small retail stores to the smart cities, you can say. So starting with the product which is Essential Plus. Essential Plus is supports till 8 cameras, which is free available on our website. So you can till 8 camera, you can run this software. You can download and get the license from our website. Any Windows 10 machine or Windows Server OS machine can be converted on NVIDIA, and that can support the complete range of 8,500 cameras in the system. If your requirement is more than 8 cameras, again there's a Express Plus, which is we suggest, where it supports 48 up to 48 cameras. It's a single server architecture where any single machine can be converted into the NVR and has all the features which are available on for the Milestone. Like
Kalpesh, if you could increase the volume of your mic. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. The next version is the Professional Plus. If the number of cameras more than 48 cameras, we recommend Professional Plus, which is there's no restriction on the camera count. It's a multi-site architecture where you can have application server at the central location and you have multiple recording server. There is no restriction on that. There are no restriction on the smart clients or a client, web client, and so on. So that's a full-fledged Professional Plus feature which is available in the system. If the requirement is purely on the redundancy, cybersecurity, encryptions, and smart maps, then we recommend Expert, which also is an unrestricted camera count, recording servers, and multiple sites. You can deploy it with more and more features. Expert Corporate, again, is a full-fledged top version of Milestone, where it adds the interconnect and federated architecture in the system with the evidence lock as a solution. I'll just show you the comparison chart. If you can see the comparison chart here, starting with the top number of cameras, you can see 8 cameras, 48 cameras, and unrestricted for Professional Plus, Expert, and Corporate. Centralized management, Active Directory support for all the versions. We support hardware acceleration, video decoding, where we not only do decoding on the graphic card on a workstation for viewing the cameras, but also you can use the same on the server also. So we are the only one which we support on the recording server, by which we can run more and more cameras by load balancing between CPU and GPU. So till Express Plus, this all till hardware acceleration, all the product supports. Then if we talk about Express Plus, alarm manager and bookmarking gets add-on in the system. Expert adds redundancy, media database encryption, smart maps. So these are the features gets add-on in Expert. And if you see the Corporate, there are 2 features which gets add-on, which is the evidence lock and federated architecture as well as interconnect architecture. With this product line, we have more add-ons like XProtect Access. So I already explained that more than 50 brands are integrated with Milestone. So with the access control module of Milestone, you can manage all the doors. You can tag all the alerts of access control with the video, and you can see the image of the person or a photograph of the person with the video on the system, and you can trace it. You have a multiple reporting through our access control module. We have a Milestone LPR, by which we support Indian standard number plates, and again this is also lots of our customers are using it, and more than 95% of accuracy level we are getting it from the solution. So if at all there is a requirement from the LPR or license plate recognition, we are always there to support you on that basis. So I'll discuss on the architecture, product architecture. So here we are talking about the there are 4 architecture. There is a central architecture, distributed architecture, federated, and interconnect. So when we talk about central architecture or corporate nutshell architecture, it's purely that all your live and recording happening at the central location. So if you see here, there is a management server, event server, log server, which sits on a single hardware, and it handles all your authentication, configuration, alarms, logs, and a system. And that all, so in terms of alarms, you talk about external alarms, analytics alarms, access control alarms are being handled from the central management application server, and all that logs or alarms or a configuration are stored into Microsoft SQL Server, which is mentioned here. We support Active Directory, so if you want to apply any group policies, security, and so on, through the Active Directory can be managed completely. Related to the recording server, You can see all the cameras, devices, talks to the recording server for video recording as well as audio recording. We also support IP sensors like optics. You talk about video push, which is a feature which we support. Screen recording, where you record your screens or desktop screens as devices. So there are multiple devices are being supported. So recording server primary role is to record the video as well as audio and manage all the devices. If you require a failover server, then if the recording server fails, there is a failover server which has been considered. There are two types of failover which we have. One is NH2 which is a cold standby. There are 5 servers. Any one server fails, automatic switch to the failover server, or it can be 1:1 also, where it is a dedicated failover is connected with that particular thing. So it depends on the criticality. The failover servers are being considered. It's a cold or a hot standby. So this was regarding the servers. There are clients on the other side. We can say management client, where management client is purely regarding configuring technically. So when we talk about administrative configuration, like adding a devices, resolution, FPS to be configured, alarm to be configured, users, everything that has been done from the management client, as we are server client architecture. So the role of management client is configure all the system. Smart client is purely for the operators, where you can see the live view, playback, alarms, and all in the systems through the smart client. If the users are mobile client or a web-based users, a browser-based user, then we recommend a mobile server in the system, where a mobile server can, through the mobile server, you can access Android-based OS or iOS-based, by which you can see the live view. You can access the recording, alarms, all the systems in the Milestone itself. So this is all about the central architecture. The second architecture, which is distributed architecture, where we are talking about the central application server, which is residing, and at all the remote location which are there, maybe in India, and maybe one location is Mumbai, Bangalore, or any other part of this world, that can be connected through the WAN on the recording server. So all the recording servers as well as failover server will be talking to the central management server. And so what is the benefit of this is that you are saving lots of bandwidth. So all the cameras will be talking to the local recording server on LAN, and at the central location, the management server and recording server will be only communicating on WAN. So only and only user who is sitting in the central location views the camera. At that time, the bandwidth is utilized as per the number of cameras being viewed on the system. So this was about the distributed architecture. Next is the hello. Is it clear, the voice?
Yes,
Hello?
very clear.
So the next architecture is a federated architecture, where this only is supported by the corporate system as well as experts. So here, all these sites will be having their own application and the recording and the failover server talking to that relevant cameras. And still you want to hook up to the central location. So you can have a central site as a corporate, which is acting as a parent site, and the rest of site will be acting as a child site. So corporate product can be act as a parent site, and expert and corporate can act as a child site. So this is the architecture where you can view all this camera through the federated architecture on the central location. The next architecture is the interconnect architecture, where we have multiple product line, as I mentioned, Express Plus, Professional Plus, Expert, and Corporate. So, and we also have NVRs like Husky NVR. So at the central location, if the corporate product has been running, and I want to hook the lower version like Express Plus or a Professional Plus or Expert Corporate, I can connect through the interconnect architecture, by which I can have a live view as well as recording on the both the location. So locally also the recording will happen, and I can schedule the backup or recording to the central location to be moving the data. So this is the architecture where I want a 2 location video to be recorded, and also it's not required a real-time bandwidth. So what is the difference with federated architecture and interconnect architecture? If your first of all, if your bandwidth or your connectivity is stable, then we recommend federated architecture in corporate environment. But if your connectivity is not stable, then we purely emphasis on interconnect, where all the cameras through the interconnect connects to the central location on the system. So next slide, I'll talk about a little bit on the marketplace. So as I mentioned earlier, we have more than 3,500 technology partners are integrated in Milestone, which includes hardware, analytics, applications, and access control, intrusion, and PSIMs, and lots of. So to provide your best services, we have come up with a marketplace where on our website, you can go to our marketplace and you can search the system as per your need. So if you require some face detection solution, so we have the marketplace where you can just search and filter as per your requirement, and you will get the best verified and certified product of Milestone with the technology partner or a community partner. And so as per your need, if you require analytics or hardware or access control or intrusion, so there are multiple solutions available on our website which can be easily be accessible. And this all solutions are global solutions in the system. So our community partner is BCD Video VSS. We are they are our verified solution on a hardware optimization you talk about. We have a long relation since last 10 years. We are there working with BCD Video, and we have a lot of large installation globally all over the world. And as a VSS, they did us our system builder solution, where our application is preloaded in the server whenever it is delivered to the customer. And they have did lots of optimization on Milestone. So that all part I will keep on the VSS team to take care of it. So I'll hand it over to Wesley back to so that the VSS team can take care of the next slides.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kalpesh. Very much appreciated. Now I'll hand over the presentation to Mr. Rohit Khubchandani. Rohit, the floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. This is Rohit Khubchandani here. Thank you, Milestone and Kalpesh, for the lovely introduction. I'm sure that most of the people in the room already know about Milestone, but this was a good refresher to understand what Milestone is doing, understand all the different architectures and the marketplace. It's a great initiative, and we see a lot of value in the marketplace. And today's presentation, we are going to focus about how we can maximize the performance of your video surveillance systems utilizing Milestone and BCD Video and VSS solutions. Some of you have been complaining that the slides are not changing appropriately. So please let us know if you see the relevant slides, and we'll make sure to go a little slow so that those of you who are having difficulties in slide changes can cope up with it. So my name is Rohit Khubchandani. I'm the Regional Sales Director for BCD Video and VSS for the METAI region. My background has mainly been in the video surveillance infrastructure space. I used to previously work for Milestone. As you see, I was certified in Milestone in 2006, and I also worked for some other leading surveillance brands like Avigilon, Pivot3, and DDN Storage. So you can say with my vast knowledge and experience, you can definitely consider me as your trusted advisor, so that if there are anything you require or you need to understand about how the video infrastructure is optimized in the video surveillance space, I'll be happy to support all of you joining us and answer your queries. And yes, you can ask your questions to us. We will answer all the questions at the end of the session. So please do put your question in the chat box and we'll be happy to address your questions. We are going to move to the next slide now. Here I'm going to introduce you to BCD International. BCD International is actually a group of 4 companies: BCD International, BCD Video, BCD OEM, and VSS. We were established in 1999 in Chicago, Illinois, and we are dedicated exclusively to servicing the electronic security industry community. What this actually means is that unlike our other friends, we don't really do any enterprise IT data centers. So we are focused and dedicated to video surveillance projects and related technologies like access control, building management systems, video analytics, and so on and so forth. This also means that everybody in our company understands all these applications very well, unlike some of our friends. Our regional office is in Dubai. I'm speaking to you guys from Dubai today. We have more than 20 plus years of industry experience. We have deployed over 100,000 plus systems in more than 75 plus countries. And of course in India also. One of the unique things about us is we are the only security manufacturer that guarantee project specifications, including storage and bandwidth calculations. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, that how we do this and how that's going to benefit you and what's the difference. What we see as a big trend and a big thing that we see all around is that most of the big boys that you come across, they are always utilizing IT hardware for video surveillance use cases. Now, we're not saying there's anything wrong with this. This may or may not work, but one thing is very important is to understand the difference in the workloads. The video surveillance workload versus the IT workload, it is not the same. And this brings up some challenges, which is what our offering is addressed to optimize and make sure that we give you a solution that is well designed for a video surveillance system rather than standard typical IT hardware that you are procuring from your IT vendor. Right, so let's try to understand some nuances over here. So if you look at traditional IT, you're looking at some database application, some B2B, some CRM, something like an SAP or things like that, or a mail server, and you will realize that these applications are more database centric, structured data, they have predictable growth, and most importantly, you will realize that 80% of the time in your IT applications, you are reading information and only 20% of the time you write information. Whereas in our world, in the new wave video data storage, be it CCTV, HD cameras, megapixel cameras and things like that, you will realize that the workload is completely different, and 99% of the time we are writing information and hardly 1 or 2% of the time we read information. So this is very important. Traditional IT hardware was not designed to handle this type of workload. So you need to be sure that your video surveillance server, storage, NVR, whatever you talk about, whatever you use in your projects is properly optimized for the video surveillance workload. So we built a system from the ground up to handle the video surveillance workload. How this works or what we do different or what is our USP here is that we call it purpose-built, performance-driven. That means that this is actually built on purpose to drive more performance. And the purpose here is video surveillance, which you're doing using your Milestone software and your video analytics that Milestone is supporting from the ecosystem. But everything is designed for this purpose to drive more performance. What this also means to you as a consultant, end user, integrator, whoever you are today in the room, that our systems will actually perform much better than an equivalent standard off-the-shelf server from the market. That means we can run a lot more cameras versus, any other product out there that you see. And this is actually validated, benchmark, and tested completely with Milestone. We're going to share some exciting results with you today and talk about how many cameras we can run on these machines and servers and storage. And on top of that, we also give the performance guarantee, which we will talk about what that really is. And when we talk about purpose-built and performance-driven servers and storage, there is a lot of things that go into it. We take care of a lot of nuances. For example, capacity, drive technology, processors, Intel Core, Intel Xeon. We're always utilizing the latest Intel Xeon Silver Gold processors. RAID technology, making sure the RAID is factory configured, high availability, failover solutions, redundant power, high efficiency power supplies, fans, heat sinks. This is not the complete list. This is a lot of the nuances we address, and not only from a hardware side, but also from a software side, making sure that the BIOS is properly, we disable a lot of features in BIOS which interfere with the video surveillance at the operating system level, so on and so forth. So we are actually taking care of a lot of nuances to properly optimize and tune your system to perform better with that application. So we understand the application's environment. To top this, what we have done is that we have designed a warranty with Pro Services and part supplies next business day on site, worldwide, globally, in all the markets we cater to. Now, here's something very important to understand. You will realize most of your IT vendors that you work with, they have this tendency to push a very low-end warranty or an inferior warranty that actually sometimes is not enough. It's almost like a insurance policy that you see with the fine print, and you don't read most of it. And then when you have some problems, you know that, oh, this is not covered, that is not covered. But we change the game because we understand a surveillance system is designed to run 24/7. So we design the warranty in such a way that whatever your warranty is, 3 years or 5 years, that's what we typically offer. These warranties are designed for video surveillance type of customers where parts are delivered next business day on site, depending on the the city you're in, because in India is a vast country, and certain remote sites maybe will require longer time depending on the support agreements and things like that. So this is very important. I think a lot of people ignore this portion, and when they face problems on site, they realize that how much of a nightmare it is catering to these warranties. We build this in a very good way in the system. We also incorporated in this something called Keep Your Hard Drive Warranty. So Keep Your Hard Drive Warranty is where the customer never has to return his drive. Even if the drive goes bad, we will diagnose that the drive is gone bad, and he keeps the drive and he still gets a new drive. Now, this is important for data integrity. Today, there is a lot of incidents we hear about, cyber security and video being leaked, surveillance video being leaked on WikiLeaks and other types of platforms. So you need to make sure that your data, your video surveillance data, is with you, and no one has access, because if you give your drive backs, maybe there's a possibility somebody can retrieve the video and misuse it, especially if it's in a very important environment such as an airport or any other government projects and things like that. We work very deeply and closely with our technology partners, and basically you can see that we are tightly partnered with Intel, NVIDIA, Seagate, Dell, HP, Alcatel, Lucent. We build off the Dell OEM platform, so we are basically a Dell OEM. And the reason we do this is also to be able to give you that unprecedented support locally anywhere in the world, on ground, with the power that these big manufacturers have. We are able to reach anywhere and offer you the local support in a very effective way, in a very positive way. We have a certification lab and innovation center where we test, benchmark all the Milestone software, the related other applications, LPR, analytics. We do deep testing, we do verification, and we come up with innovations. We'll focus on some of the innovations, that you will find here. Talking a little bit about our experience, we have, as I told you, more than 100,000 plus systems in over 75 countries. You'll see some of the well-known names there, like Statue of Liberty, LinkedIn, you name it. I think we have been having references in every vertical, be it an airport, a seaport, government entities, all over the world, all kinds of customers, right? So maybe some of these customers can relate to you. We have cherry-picked some of our India references. This is not the whole list. We have a lot of customers in India, but obviously with the limited time we have, we cannot speak through everything. So Apple being one of our prime customers globally and in India also, and some of the logos as you can see are Kevadia Zoological Park, GE, and there's many more customers. So we are well versed in the Indian market, and we have a good install base in the country, and also neighboring countries, Nepal, Sri Lanka. I know that we have some registrants joining from there. Like Kalpesh mentioned, the BCD Video Milestone partnership is a very old partnership. We have more than a decade of relationship. We have a lot of global rollouts. We are also the charter member of the Milestone System Builder program. I'll familiarize you guys with what a Milestone System Builder is and how we utilize the advantage of being a Milestone System Builder, a true Milestone System Builder. One of the things here is that we are actually pre-installing the Milestone software with the X product inside assurance. Like you see the Milestone X product inside logo here. This is this would remind you of Intel Inside. This is exactly the assurance that we are giving, that your Milestone software is properly tested, benchmark, verified, and installed in these boxes. Currently, we're recording millions of cameras with Milestone software in more than 75 countries, and we have a aligned go-to-market strategy with Milestone to go to the market. So this is actually really gave birth to VSS, Video Storage Solutions. You can access it on videoappliances.com, and it's pre-engineered for Milestone, utilizing the full gamut of the Milestone System Builder approach, right? So to throw more light on the System Builder approach, it comes with the X product inside assurance. All software components are pre-installed at the factory with proper hardening. This includes the operating system, software patches, firmware updates, your Milestone X product software. We do factory configured RAID. We benchmark and test for the real workload of your projects, and it's properly tuned and optimized for your Milestone VMS. As you can see from this representation, we are building on the same VMS core technology, and you have seamless upgrade through license change. So you could buy a VSS server preloaded with Milestone X product Essential, which is a free software, and you just need to input the license to upgrade it to Professional Plus, Expert, or Corporate, or you could have it pre-installed with Corporate or whichever version you want by providing us the license. And you get the full assurance from us on the full solution with the X product inside assurance, as well as the performance guarantee from BCD Video and VSS. And we'll talk a little bit more about the performance guarantee as we are going into the next few slides. Guys, everybody can hear me clearly because I can see some messages to speak loudly. I hope I'm audible to the audience here. So who is VSS? VSS was launched in 2019. As part of BCD International, we supply pre-engineered video appliances exclusively through authorized security distributors. Atos is our go-to distributor for the Indian market. And thank you to Atos to kindly host the session for us. All VSS appliances are validated to withstand the taxing video data write loads and the demands of video storage. We actually give you a bandwidth guarantee here, which I'm going to stress a little bit more on after I go into some technical nuances. Our engineering team has certified these servers and storage to handle that bandwidth capabilities on each system. So this is essentially a marriage of Dell, Seagate, Intel, Milestone coming together with BCD and launching proper appliance portfolio as we assess to cater to the Milestone community requirements. Right, this is the VSS team. You have me and Wesley on the call, and the rest of the people you can see for yourselves. What does the arrival of VSS mean for the Milestone community? What this means is you get purpose-built hardware for Milestone, which will help you lower your total cost of ownership, which we will show you in the next coming slide. That obviously will also help you close more business in these challenging times that we are facing today if you are able to offer the right value to the customer. It's verified and certified hardware for Milestone, sold and supported by Expert, and VSS is made exclusively available through the Milestone distribution network distributed by Atos Global in the region. And we also pride in the fastest lead time in the industry. We ship everything from the factory in the US in an average of 14 business days, and sometimes we're able to do that much faster. Most of other competitors are up to 35, 40 days, and sometimes even more, depending on which customer you are, which vendor you're working with, which technology partner you're working with. Guys, I want to remind you, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat box. And at the end of the session, we will take all your questions. We'll have enough time to answer all your questions. So let me talk a little bit about the value proposition, our technology and innovation. And to do that, I want to show you this screen capture. I'm sure that most of you are familiar with this. Most of you have used the Milestone calculator. And when you go to the Milestone calculator and you input your information about how many cameras, what frame rate, what resolution, you will get a calculation sheet which will show you what kind of servers you need, what processor, how much memory, and then you also see the what are the requirements in terms of the drives required, right? Like you can see here, you have 2 drives as 300 GB minimum RAID 1 for your OS and application volume. You have 6 drives here, 15K RPM, 450 GB in RAID 1 and RAID 10 for your live database configuration, and archive database disk configuration with 16 drives at 72K RPM and 6 TB in RAID 6. So what we did as VSS, we tried to understand in depth, in detail, with all the experience we have over the last 10 years, over a decade, implementing Milestone system in millions of places and with millions of cameras. We went deep into how Milestone actually writes the video and what is really the storage architecture and the Milestone recording engine. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have seen this, but this is how Milestone actually X-Protect storage architecture works, and these are the recommendations. So you stream the video from the camera onto your Milestone recording servers. You could optionally do pre-buffering, and then eventually you record the video to a recording database, also known as the live database in many cases, the live disk that you have. And then you have archive database, which is basically your main video retention database, as well as you will see that you could do further archiving, which is supported with reduced frame rates for longer retention and things like that. So we studied this in deep and we saw the impact. And we looked at the 3 different tiers of storage as per Milestone best practices. The first tier, the application tier, where normally you are seeing that 200-300 GB drives are being utilized for the operating system and the Milestone application. We have standardized this on fast booting and performing NVMe SSDs. This really helps a lot in maximizing the performance of your Milestone system, because your application is starting much faster, booting much faster, and giving you a much higher performance than you would go with the 10K or 15K RPM typical drives that you see. Now, here is the most important tier, the performance tier, or also known as the live database. Now, there is the best practice here is to use 10K, 15K RPM SAS drives. And depending on your workload, it could be 4 drives, 6 drives, 8 drives, depending on your project, right? And sometimes these drives can be expensive. So you have the option to work with us and go with the live drive as you have in the calculations, or we have actually innovated this area, and we'll talk a little bit about this in the upcoming slides. And finally, you have the capacity tier or the data storage tier, where you use typically 72K RPM enterprise SATA or SAS drives. We'll speak a little bit more about this as we go into the slides. So VSS storage accelerator for Milestone, this is truly something we want to focus on today. It revolutionizes the Milestone server technology. It eliminates your disk IO bandwidth bottlenecks. It increases your throughput and storage scalability. And it's also a way to eliminate the live drives, which we will kind of speak about. So in terms of performance, this is easily able to tackle 700 Mbps of throughput with a standard 1 GB NIC. If you translate that into camera numbers, if I have to say so, if you consider 1 megabit per second for a camera, you can do like 700 cameras on a single server with a 1 GB pipe. But if you're going to use a 10 GB pipe, you can beef up the performance to go up to 1.6 Gbps per second. That means you can actually run 1600 cameras on a single machine. Now, I'm not saying you will actually do that and you will run all your eggs in one basket, but it's good to know that you have all the performance for future scalability and things like that in a small pack machine like this with such huge performance. When we will talk more in the product portfolio, we're going to highlight some of these things, right? More on the VSS storage accelerator for Milestone. So here, one thing important to understand is that if you're buying a standard NVR or a server to run your Milestone software, and you're going to put the 3 tiers of storage in the physical drive base that are available, which we spoke about earlier, your tier for your operating system and application, your tier for your live database, and your tier for your capacity, so you're going to lose a lot of drive bays there, right? If you have a 12 bay machine or 18 bay machine, and in the 18 bay you're losing 6 or 8 drives, essentially you're only left with 10 or 8 drives to have your storage. Because of this reason, a lot of time customers are forced to go with a more complicated architecture, even though they don't require, like if they have to go with SAN or NAS or that kind of offering, and they might not need it. If they need it, it's a different thing. It depends on your use case here particularly. But the way we revolutionize this technology is that with this technology, by inserting the video storage accelerator into the machine, what you're doing is you don't have the live drives. So that means those drive bays become free now. You have more real estate on your servers available now. So that means you'll actually need fewer servers for your projects, lower cost per terabyte, less rack space, less electrical dissipation, and less energy consumption. And to top it, the performance of one VSS storage accelerator card can yield up to 435 15K drives. I know it's hard to understand from this. This is more from an IOPS perspective. And let me illustrate that to you a little bit more in detail. So if you take an example of 8 15K live drives, which each drive typically gives you 300 IOPS per drive, you will see that you get 2,400 IOPS with 8 drives. But with one storage accelerator, you actually get 135,000 IOPS. So that's huge. That's almost performance of 50 of these live type of drives or 15K RPM SAS drives, right? And also the latency changes tremendously. You go from 2 millisecond latency to 30 microsecond latency. That gives you a huge boost. And of course, the real estate that you get in the machines as well, or the servers or the NVR as well, adds a lot to this. This is our typical milestone reference slide for showing you typical video surveillance architecture. You will notice in a typical video surveillance architecture, you have your IP cameras, you have your network, your access network, core network, and then you have your VMS system. So VMS system can be management servers, recording servers, failover servers. BCD and VSS provide all the hardware. We don't provide any software because software is coming from Milestone or from Atos, our distributor here. So you use any of the Milestone platforms and you run it on our hardware, which is coming factory pre-installed with the performance guarantee. I'll talk about that in a minute. You can connect it to external storage such as scale out NAS, and we offer these products as well. Or you can also have analytics system running like the Milestone Xpredict LPR, or maybe some third-party analytics supported by Milestone such as AlgoVision, Isotana, BriefCam, whichever one you're using in your project, and the workstations. All the hardware, as a holistic hardware provider, we supply all the hardware in these areas. And coming back to the performance guarantee, as VSS and BCD Video, we offer a performance guarantee. What this performance guarantee means to you is that if we design a system for you to run 100 cameras on one recording server at full HD, 25 frames per second, 30 days retention, or whatever your parameters might be, then we guarantee the performance of that from a storage and bandwidth perspective. So in case, let's say, for example, if you have a project and it is not working, if you're not able to record 100 cameras and we have guaranteed that, and only 80 cameras are working, we are liable as a manufacturer to make it work to record 100 cameras. What this means is that if we need to add another processor to this machine because there's not enough processing, we will do that free of cost. If it means that if there is more RAM to be added, we will do that free of cost. If it means we need to add more drives, we will do that free of cost. If it means that we need to give you another machine to load balance your workload, we will do that. We take the full responsibility and full guarantee. And this is not a marketing message. It's fully well documented. And we are known to do this to guarantee. In a way, we are taking away the risk from you as a system integrator. And, it's a peace of mind that the solution will work for what is designed, and we guarantee that design that we work with. And it's also peace of mind for you as an end customer or a consultant that you're working with a solution that is fully guaranteed and properly benchmarked for performance and validated by Milestone. That's the most important part of our offering. I would now like to hand over the stage to Mr. Wesley Varughese. He's going to take us through the product portfolio, and I will also pitch in between and to stress on certain aspects of the product. But Wesley will be leading this session to familiarize everybody with the product offerings of VSS. Wesley, over to you.
Thank you, Rohit, for the overview, and thank you so much to all of our participants who've engaged so far. I see that you have quite a few questions in the chat box. Continue to ask those questions, and we will address those during the Q&A session after this section. Thank you again also to Milestone and Atos for your contribution and all of your assistance so far as well. So now I'll go in with the product portfolio of VSS. Just to give a quick background on myself, my name is Wesley Varughese. I'm originally based out of Chicago, Illinois. However, I am South Indian. I am with BCD for 4+ years, supporting various markets in Latin America, across EMEA, and now here in the Middle East, and relocated here to our Middle East office in Dubai in January. I am certified with Milestone and continue to support the architecture in solution design and pre-sales and whatever solutions you may require. So probably the most common and most frequent application as part of the offering from Milestone that you'll discover is the management server. This is something, depending on the project requirements, is quite often utilized for that particular solution. Here we have a variety of management server applications and appliances that can fulfill those requirements, ranging from 1 to 300 cameras, 300 to 1,200 cameras, 2,500 cameras, or even more so than that. Each of these are built in a way for the support required. For example, our short depth surfer for supporting 1 to 300 cameras has the latest 9th generation Intel processor with the appropriate SSDs for the operating system. However, let's say you have 400 cameras. We have a management server with the appropriate processor and SQL database cluster drives, along with a SQL license to be able to support that as well. Now, I'll dive into the core portfolio of the recording servers and workstations within VSS, and from there we'll begin with our value series. So our value series, if you move to the next slide, is based on a 3-year next business day warranty. In addition to this, and Rohit had mentioned, all of our warranties come with a keep your hard drive warranty. The importance of the keep your hard drive is to realize how important data surveillance is now. Oftentimes we find there are sites that might be blacked or might have not the allowance of any other integrations or other people come on site. So for us, it's very important to make sure we provide that protection to our end customer. Knowing that, let's say you have a situation where you need your drive replaced, we actually provide the drive without the return of the original drive that may have failed. Oftentimes, most warranties require for a new drive to be provided for the original drive to be given back to the manufacturer. We don't require that. Our warranty lets you keep that drive and then get the new drive as well. As you'll see, we have an array of product that I'll go into within the value series, and we'll go on to the next portion. Here you'll see the variety, this is indicated within the value series. Anything from 1 terabyte to 192 terabytes of raw storage is available here, with variants between Windows 10 and Windows Server 2016 operating systems, and you have the upgrade capacity for Windows Server 2019 as well. These, depending on your product or project requirements, offer single or redundant power supply and SATA drive options as well. Depending on your requirement, we also are able to guarantee the amount of bandwidth for each of these systems, depending on the requirement of that solution. As we continue on, I'll begin with our 1-bay small form factor Milestone appliance. This is based on an i5 latest 9th generation processor. In these processors, you'll see 6 cores. These are actually equivalent to the previous generation i7. So you'll see that Intel is coming with the latest processors, and we're using that as our standard as well. This solution is guaranteed up to 60 megabits of throughput and 16 terabytes of storage. All of these machines also come as a standard with 16 GB of RAM. On the below chart, you'll see the variance of potential camera quantities that you could display on one of these machines and have record. Depending on the bit rate and resolution, you're able to identify that as well. As you'll see, this is all based on standard continuous recording, 25 frame rate, H.264 resolution and compression. Next, we have our short depth 1U 2-bay appliance. This machine is certified by VSS to perform up to 150 megabits of throughput and it's a 32 terabytes of storage. And again, you'll see the 16 GB of RAM as a standard. Finally, this is the probably most capable machine within the Value Series product line. This uses the 4208. It's an 8-core silver processor, quite standardized, used for video surveillance. This machine is also capable of handling the storage accelerator that Rohit had mentioned in the previous slide. VSS guarantees this system up to 600 Mbps. In this machine, we can handle 16 TB drives. So if you have a 12-bay server, you can have 16 terabyte drive, providing a total raw storage of 192. Let's say in your system, you wanted to accommodate for full HD cameras running at, let's say, 3.2 megabits of typical bit rate on continuous recording, H.264 and 25 fps. We're saying that you can run up to 187 cameras. Again, this is all variant on the project specification, but this is just a standard for you to utilize to reference. Rohit, anything that you'd like to mention as well?
Yes, these are very flexible builds. So you can start this server from as low as 32 TB and go up to 192 terabyte and up to 600 Mbps of bandwidth. And of course, we can always add more RAM if needed. This is the standard config we offer. It's based on the latest Intel Xeon Silver processors. We are using the current generation. So always utilizing the latest Intel processors due to our partnership with them. And as you can see that if you're only doing full HD type of resolution, you can go around almost 200 cameras on this, of course, but this will depend on your recording parameters. And if you're going only HD, you can even go 400 plus cameras on a machine like this.
Thank you, Rohit. From there on, we'll move on to our M series. The variance here is that our M series standardizes in a 5-year next business day warranty, along with the Keeper hard drive. And you'll see as we move forward that the variant of product is quite more expandable from here. Here, again, from 1 terabyte all the way up to 416 terabytes of raw storage on a single appliance. And as we move forward, I'll give more recognition on what that appliance might be. As you go into more of our rack mount servers here, we standardize on a RAID 1 dual solid state drive for the operating system for that protection. And then when you move on to the drive technology, we offer variants in SATA and SAS technology. In this market, we see the SATA drive to be the most commonly used for onboard video storage. For RAID support, we offer RAID 5, RAID 6 configurations on these. If RAID 10 is required, we're able to provide that as well. And then with the operating system, again, the same variants, Windows 10 Pro, and then if you need Server 2016 and also 2019 upgrade, that is available too. Again, the M series is standardized on 5-year next business day warranty. The first product that we'll foresee in the M series is our 18-bay appliance. This is probably one of the most commonly utilized appliances within our product portfolio in total. This uses up to 2 Intel Silver 4216 processors. One single of these processors offers 16 cores for a total of 32 cores of capacity on this machine itself. This is also storage accelerator equipped, and we guarantee it up to 1400 Mbps of throughput. With 288 terabytes of raw storage, if you have 16 terabyte drives, you're able to achieve that. So let's say after RAID 6, you're probably about 230 or so terabyte of usable storage after RAID 6. The other biggest variant that is important to consider here is that we utilize the latest RAID controllers of the highest caching technology. These are 8 GB caching per RAID controllers. Typically, if you look at the other competitors and manufacturers out there, you'll see them utilize perhaps 1 or 2 GB caching RAID controllers, and this can make a different impact on your video surveillance architecture. On these, we understand that there's viewing that's also happening and different streams that are going in and out, which is why we make sure to offer the appropriate amount of NIC ports and 10 gig SFPs depending on the network switches that you're utilizing in your system. And below, you'll see some of the achievements that we can have here. On our, let's say, 3 megapixel option, for example, on 5 megabits of throughput, 25 FPS, we're seeing about 285 cameras. But you also know, let's say you wanted to run 1,000 cameras at HD resolution, 720p. You have that flexibility as well.
This is really a very common product. We see it being utilized a lot, and it has got a lot of drive base, 18 drive base. and you can utilize all the drive base, the full real estate, because like we explained earlier to you that the two drives for the application and the operating system are NVMe SSDs, so they're not occupying any drive base, and your live performance drives are basically equipped with the storage accelerator, so you can use all the 18 drives, and with today's 16 TB drives, you get 288 terabyte of raw storage capacity on these machines, right? And with a 720p resolution, you can go even 1,000 cameras on a machine like this. So it's really the beast. And we can, obviously, this is just, the table is very representative where we are talking about the resolution and the bitrate and the number of cameras. This can change so dynamically, you know, if you have a different frame rate, it will make a big difference in the numbers that you see there.
Now we'll go to our Milestone verified appliance. And this in particular is our large machine. This is a 26 bay machine that has been verified with Milestone X Protect. If we go to the next slide, you'll see the certification test that we had done. In this case, a continuous recording. We had 600 cameras connected at 30 frame rate per second, and we were achieving about 2.4 gigs or 2,445 megabits of throughput on a single machine. On our next slide, you'll see more of the capabilities of this server. This is certified by VSS to achieve up to 1,600 Mbps of throughput, has storage accelerator, and is able to achieve 2 Xeon Silver 4216 processors. And again, the same RAID controller, the same capabilities of that 18-base server, but you get all that performance in a 26-base server as well, with all the recording capacity. So again, 416 terabytes of raw storage on a single 2U chassis, providing about 350 terabytes of usable storage after RAID 6. Let's say you wanted a petabyte of storage. 2-3 of these chassis would give you just over 1 petabyte of usable storage after RAID 6. All of these machines are also capable of fitting a graphics card if required. Typically, in different architectures now, we're seeing that there's a need for H.265 compressions and different analytics requiring a GPU to be able to facilitate the requirements of the video surveillance architecture. We're able to supply that with our product offering as well and use a variety of servers. Rohit, anything to mention that you would like to include?
No, I think you covered everything. This is our beast with the highest storage density and very high performance. And like you mentioned about the GPUs as well, that we can always add any GPU that you want. We are supporting all the NVIDIA GPUs. GPUs are being utilized a lot sometimes for hardware acceleration, but on H.264 compression, we are already certifying it for a high number, so we don't really have the need to add those GPUs. But definitely when you're doing H.265, there would be a requirement to have some GPUs to balance the workload between the processor and the graphics card. And depending on your use case, we can obviously give you other options of GPUs as needed.
Thank you. Now just to provide an overview on the different products we offer outside of our recording servers. We have ruggedized servers. These are harsh and mobile environment servers that can offer different capacities depending on what you require. Some of these have SSDs, SATA drives, offering anything from an i3, i5, or i7 processor with 8 GB and 16 GB RAM requirements. Some of these servers also have PoE ports. If you would like more information, you can visit our website and see more of the data sheets and more of the architecture there. These offer variants of operating temperature as well, up to almost 60 or 70 degrees Celsius of heat can be managed with these. And we also offer all the 4G, LTE, and GPS wireless modem technology for those to be supported for your perhaps rail, police car, whatever environment you're looking to have these expanded on. The next product I wanted to overview on is our workstations. These again standardize on our 5-year next business day warranty. And we offer everything from one camera to, let's say, a multi-view monitor video wall. We see micro servers, tower servers, rack mount servers, and all the options in between. You'll see the W1, W2, and W3. These all have Windows 10 Pro as their standard OS, and they all have a single power supply. There's also a standard single solid-state drive for the operating system. Typically a 256 GB SSD is what we utilize. And then let's say you require some storage on this as well. We can add storage for the 1 or 2 drivers that are available in that server. Here, we use the latest high-end NVIDIA GPUs, anything from the RTX 4 to 6000 series, the P series, if that is still available for you. The GTX series, as a clarification, has been replaced by the RTX series, although a few of those are still available in the Indian market, and all those in between. On our next slide, I'll go into more of an overview of what we've done with Smart Client and Milestone. We've actually been working on some testing, and we'll be soon releasing some of our latest results based on the latest Intel processors that we now have on our workstations. You'll see just an example of the topology here with some simulated cameras, a switch, the server, and the viewing here. We have different testing that we're doing in collaboration with Milestone, and here just an example. We'll have more that will be released in the coming future. Now I wanted to give an overview of another offering that we have outside of our onboard storage requirement. Often you'll find that for larger capacity projects, you'll see centralized storage as a requirement for a system. We offer a 5U 84 bay SAN. This is able to provide about 1008 terabytes of raw storage using 12 terabyte SAS drives. This machine with that raw storage provides about 800 terabytes of usable storage after RAID 6 with our adapt distributed RAID architecture, offering variants of 0, 1, 5, 6, 10, and 50. This also has the capacity to be flexible with our 3 or 5 year next business day on-site warranty. But the real specialty of this warranty is that it's a true high enterprise SAN. It's got SAS enterprise drives that are dual port. It's got a dual controller for every head end, so there's no single point of failure. And these are expandable as well. So if you have a head end and want to facilitate up to 4 or 5 petabytes of raw storage in a single unit with a head end and the expansions, you are able to achieve that as well. Rohit, anything on the products that you'd like to focus on?
This is a great product. Whenever you have a project where you need external storage and the density is very high, like Wesley mentioned to you guys, we can add expanders to it and go up to 4 petabyte in a 20U footprint. That's really, really high density, high performance SAN. We can obviously have another session to go in more details of some of these products, keeping them time in mind. We wanted to introduce you guys to the product today, and we can answer more detailed questions for all of you going forward.
In addition to all of the technology and the offering that we have, we also provide pre-sales and support. On the pre-sales side, we're able to help with all the recording parameters. As Rohit had mentioned, we actually guarantee our bandwidth storage calculations. We also utilize Milestone's assistance in supporting us in making sure that when it comes to design architecture, that we provide exactly what's required for their project without overspecifying or underspecifying. We want to make sure that the solution that we customize and design is appropriate for that system, value engineering, and then using the proposals to be helping you be successful in that project. In addition to the pre-sale support, our team offers technical support as well. In terms of technical support, we are the first call. We have certified engineers, not just for the architecture, but for Milestone that will be able to assign you and help you with your case. We provide level 1 through 3 support, all the application troubleshooting for hardware, operating system, and whatever that might be. From there on, we offer 24/7, 365-day technical support. And let's say a hard drive does fail. It's going to happen. It's inevitable with these sorts of systems. We have on-site support servers with Dell globally. So let's say a hard drive fails and you raise a ticket with us. We're able to use the log that you've provided to us, and we're able to raise the ticket internally with Dell. While doing so, we're able to have the local Dell technician come on site and replace the drive for you. That's part of our service, and that's part of our warranty. Let's say your warranty does expire after time. We still provide email, phone, and remote support during the lifetime of that product. Now, finally, we just wanted to verify what makes VSS different. First, the guaranteed performance. We really distinguish ourselves in making sure that we have bandwidth calculations that are certain for that project. We offer pre-engineered video recording appliances with Milestone X Protect. When you receive your video recording server from VSS, if you bought the corporate license with however many licenses you require, we will make sure that's pre-installed and imaged and ready to go as soon as you come on site. It's really a plug and play so that you're able to use the system right away as soon as it's delivered. Again, our 3-year, 5-year warranty, next business day on-site support, keep your hard drive for data integrity, and then finally, the 24/7 remote support. Rohit, if you want to mention anything here?
No, I think you have already mentioned about all our values, what makes us different, and our audience has seen it in the previous slide. So this is what makes the difference, and how we are able to get, maximize the performance of your Milestone systems.
As you have questions, you can find more information on our website with our catalog and data sheets. And if there's any questions, you can focus them there. And finally, thank you all so much for taking your time to listen to us about Milestone, VSS, and everything that we have to offer with our partner, Atos. Now, I know we have quite a few questions on our chat box, so I'm going to ask our panelists to go unmuted, and I'll go back in order of submission of the question. So we'll go with a few questions. As you submit questions on the chat box, feel free to include them, but we'll go back to the original questions that were asked at the beginning of the presentation. The first question, I think this will be directed toward Kalpesh. There was a question in regards to event log. The question comes from Vinay Singh. He asks, what happens exactly in event log in the Milestone architecture?
So event log server. So I'll just explain about event server. Milestone is a modular-based solution where we have multiple services like management server service, event server service, log server service. So especially event server handles all the events. So when we talk about events, the alarms or rules when we create it, which is internal, say that camera communication fail, or there is a analytics violation fail. So all these alerts and alarms are being handled by this event server. So event server, through this, you can receive all the events from internal or external systems. So there are lots of technology partners communicate with us, like access control events, which has been of a violation, is also handled by event server. So event server handles all the events in the systems. I hope it is I answered the question in answer.
Thank you, Kalpesh. The next question goes to VSS. Rohit, we have a question regarding redundancy and load balancing. Can you just explain a little bit further on what that means and what we're able to provide from VSS when it comes to redundancy and load balancing?
Yeah, so we are able to provide, we are basically focused on hardware. So we are offering any hardware that you require for creating your redundant recording solutions or load balancing in a way. On the server itself, or on the product itself, every component is designed to have no single point of failure. So that's the important thing. But designing these solutions is largely dependent on what are the nuances of these solutions. So obviously, this is a vast topic to discuss, and it's a very customized design that has to be done here. We also utilize a lot of other software offerings when it comes to these type of solutions. Third-party software, like you would have heard of, things like Never Fail and things like SQL Anywhere, and the Evidian plugin for Milestone management server redundancy. So it depends on what level of redundancy you want: application level redundancy, hardware level redundancy. So a lot of factors need to be. I know this might not answer the exact question, but it will give you some thoughts on where to take this discussion forward.
So I'll just add on the management server recording failover. So it depends on the design. So management server is designed as per 300 camera support, 1200 camera support, 2500 camera support, 5000 to 10,000. So it depends on, accordingly we recommend the design. So it is not a ratio which we normally say. So that's related to management server redundancy, which we do it on a Windows clustering part. Whereas the recording server, number of cameras which are managed by from each recording server, so accordingly the failover has been designed on the system basis. So it again totally depends on the number of cameras, resolution, FPS, and accordingly the design happens.
Thank you, Kalpesh. I think that gives more clarity about from a Milestone perspective. This is a vast topic, and it will really relate on the design and and a lot of factors will change based on the design.
Thank you. Now we have a question from Vinay Sain. Vinay, I'm going to give you the ability to talk.
Hello.
Yes.
I just wanted to know what, when you save ANPR, what happens when you say a Devanagari script? How do you recognize the characters on the number plate?
On the number plate. So again, currently we are only on the English has been handled. So there are no Hindi, you can say, or multilingual. It's only English, which has been as per our certified government certified number plates. We only recognize that as LPR. But yes, our LPR is open platform. Again, we share our SDK and can be developed as per the number plate required on that basis. So I'll tell about Delhi Airport. Delhi Airport is using the LPR, and they have some customized LPR requirement as per the yellow plates and all stuff. So that can be developed and maybe used as a system.
The next person that we have raising their hand is Sachin Tiwari. Sachin, you now have the ability to talk. Okay, moving on. I have Aditya Kumar. Aditya, if you can speak. Okay. No problem. We'll move on to Arindam Badra.
Seems like there's some audio problem. Arindam, are you speaking to us?
Hello.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Aditya.
Hello. Yeah. So I just want to know, when you are talking about different type of storages, when you say that there's one which is SSD and other one is you mentioned. So which one we need to use or we need to recommend?
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
Since you talk about the different kind of storage hard disk, you mentioned there's one is SSD and there's another one. So which one we need to recommend in which scenarios?
So let me explain that a little bit more. We are utilizing SSDs for the operating system and the Milestone application in RAID 1 configuration, which is mirrored to offer the redundancy on the hard drive level for those applications. Right. For the performance tier, which is you can either utilize 10K or 15K RPM SAS drives as per your design, or you can utilize the video storage accelerator, which we spoke about. The video storage accelerator is basically based on a non-volatile NVMe style SSD card, which goes into the machine with 1.6 terabyte of a storage tier. Essentially, here we are not changing the architecture that Milestone utilizes in the live database. Is the same architecture. It's just that the tier of storage is moved from utilizing standard SAS drives to SSD type of technology, which is more on the flash level acceleration. Right. For capacity, utilizing SSDs can be challenging because of the cost factor to be considered. So for capacity, typically where you're storing your video, you're either utilizing enterprise SATA or SAS drives, depending on what is the size of your project, whether it's going to be onboard storage, whether it's going to be external storage, how much storage you require. I think that's an economics decision that you need to make and strike a balance between value and performance, cost and performance. So it's basically more about your dollar per dollar performance and things like that you need to consider when you're designing your projects. I hope this answers your question, Aditya.
We have a question.
Yes.
Thank you, Aditya. We have a question from Mridrul Goel. The question is, except for the preloaded software and all the differences that you get from the big boys like Dell or Hewlett Packard with the same specifications in the market, what is the difference maker for VSS? What is the value that you guys set yourselves apart with from these
Thank you,
other
Mr.
surveillance manufacturers?
Mr. Goel, that's a very good question, and I think that's the premise of our presentation today. It's not about preloading the software. The software you can load, that's not really the main USP here. Okay, the main USP here is the performance and the performance guarantee. Can any of the names that you take guarantee the performance for you in terms of the bandwidth that machine will support? The answer is no. Secondly, what is the validation and testing done behind Milestone, and how much throughput they can offer in those machines? If you take comparable builds, same spec, you will get much lower throughput on those machines compared to what we offer. For example, an X spec that we talk about, which one of the manufacturers you speak about, can only handle about 600 Mbps of throughput, whereas on our technology, you can do 1600 Mbps of throughput with the same machine. Okay, what this means is that with the other competitor, you will have to actually buy 2 or 3 servers to manage the same workload, which we can handle in one server, right? So that's the big difference. Secondly, we are a surveillance company. Everybody over here is a surveillance expert. So we understand the requirements of Milestone, and it's properly benchmark certified for Milestone. And I think your question also asks about cost comparison, or it's cheaper to buy directly from the OEM. That's not exactly true, because it might be cheaper, but it will not give you the same results. Then eventually you're paying a lot more than you could pay with our solution. Our solution, if you look at the total cost of ownership, which definitely be much more better from that perspective. Siddharth, do you want to also add something to this from Atos perspective?
Regarding what point, Rohit?
Regarding the difference of us, BCD video VSS versus an OEM like Dell or HP. What are the differences you have seen from your experience in the market?
From our perspective, one thing is very important for a distributor like us and also all the partner community. One thing is that when we go to any project, okay, we all work and toil pretty hard in terms of identification of the project. We work with the end user. We try to convince on our, PTR, we on past record, our competency and all those things. And it takes a lot of time to convince the customer. And when the project matures, a lot of competition enters. A lot of other companies try to pitch their solution at a cheaper price. And eventually, whatever hard work we have done, that goes in vain. Now, typically, all these big names, big guys, have a very limited protection because it is very overpopulated in the market. So it means to say that the product may already be in stock for a stockist or a distributor or a partner because it is already distributed at a very large level. While when we are working with BCD and VSS, the complete ecosystem is very tightly integrated with Rohit, with Wesley, with Atos. So we will ensure that all the hard work is protected. We'll ensure that the project is won and lost together as a team.
And just to summarize on Siddharth's point, I think really what we want to identify here is the performance that we gather with this multi-unit solution. Yes, you can buy from any of the local providers that you currently have, but those are not video surveillance experts. At the end of the day, VSS, Milestone, Atos, we're all working collaboratively because we're in this space together. We've been spending the time to make sure that every solution that we garner and customize is appropriate for that video surveillance. From any of those other IT manufacturers, they're taking technology that may not be exactly meant for the system that you're implementing. And we want to differentiate that. And along with that, making sure that if you need to put an acceptable amount of cameras, we can do that in our system. We can make sure that if you need to achieve a certain amount of throughput, we will design a system that's able to manage that for you. I have the raising hand of Damarajan. Damarajan, I'm gonna put you on to talk if you have any questions. Okay, I'll move to the next person. I see the raising of hand of Namit Arora.
Hello.
Oh, Damarajan, go ahead.
Hello. Yes, sir. For example, VSS 122, how many cameras connected on the single server?
Rohit, the question was, how many cameras can you put in a single server? If you want to explain that one.
On the 122, he's asking in specific, right, Damaraj?
Yeah.
Maybe you
Yeah.
can go back to that slide, Wesley, where we have the VSS 122 on this deck, so we can explain that a bit.
Sure, I'll give you the ability to do that.
Okay, sure, thank you. Mr. Damarajan, this actually depends on your recording parameters, how many frame rates you're recording at, what is the recording resolution, the bit rate, and all these aspects have to be taken into consideration. Okay, so Wesley, can you confirm what is the bit rate for the 122 product?
Yeah, that machine's able to do up to 600 Mbps of total throughput.
Yeah. So if your camera is utilizing 2 Mbps, you can run 300 cameras. And if your camera is taking 4 Mbps, you can do, you will have to do the math based on the bit rate your camera is actually utilizing. So it's really dependent on your recording parameters that will determine what each machine can handle from that perspective. Yeah, that's VSS 122, as you can see, up to 600 Mbps. And we are giving you some examples here that if a camera is taking 1.4 megabits per second, you can do like 428 cameras. So I hope this answers your question, or would you like to elaborate more on what information we can help you with?
We'll move on to the next question. I know, Kalpesh, there was a question regarding LPR license. Is there anything further you'd like to explain with that, with everybody else?
Yeah, so just want to tell that LPR license is a camera-based license. So any camera which we support on LPR, so there are a few prerequisites of the camera model should be there. So it should have some WDR, the resolution, FPS, and so on. That's a requirement, and we support any multi-camera. That is not a challenge. And the license is camera-based.
Thank you. Mr. Vinay Singh, any questions? You now have the ability to, yes.
No, basically I wanted to know more of case studies when you discussed this. Today was more of a product description. Once you go ahead with the next session, I would prefer that you have some case studies so people understand what actually happens at site when you connect all these things.
Thank you, Mr. Vinayak Sane. I think that's a very valid point, and we will come up with another session where we'll go into specific case studies and talk about the challenge the customer face, how we solve the challenge. And I think it will be very valuable to everybody. We'll definitely look into that and come back with another session with the case studies.
Mr. Namit Arora, any questions?
Yes. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Firstly, I'm extremely thankful to you for conducting the training session. I requested to explain me the slide of opting milestone software depending upon the number of cameras. There was a slide which in milestone.
In milestone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you are saying the product 48 cameras and that slide.
Yes. 8 cameras. Yes. 8 cameras.
Wesley,
Yeah.
can you go to that slide if possible?
Yes. Rohit, I've given you control.
Okay. So that slide would be.
So what is the question in that?
I just wish to go through everything in that.
Okay.
Yes.
Kalpesh, I think that's your slide where you have all the software variants.
Yes, all the variants, yeah.
Yeah. So he wants to understand more on that. Sorry, I'm going one by one.
Okay. it came in the beginning.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah,
one or
it
two
ca-
slides behind this.
Yeah.
Is this slide good enough to explain that, or you want the other slide?
This one, yeah, this one. Can you zoom it out?
There are view options. You'll see view options, and you can actually increase your screen size from there.
Yeah, in that there is an option called full
Okay,
screen.
okay.
So hi. So this is the comparison chart. I'll just brief again. So
Yes.
there are 5 products of Milestone, starting with Essential Plus, Express Plus, Professional Plus, Expert, and Corporate. So when I talk about Essential Plus, it's a free version which we offer. It's not, so you can go to our website, you can register on our website, and you can download the software with the license. This will support till 8 cameras. So you buy any supported camera or on-wave S or G profile cameras, and you can use this software if your requirement is till 8 cameras. So that's Essential Plus. If your requirement is up to 48 cameras and more than 8 cameras, then Express Plus is what we recommend. It's a single server architecture where your single server can be acting as a NVR kind of thing. So it's very limited to 48 cameras. The requirement, if increases to more than 48 cameras, then we offer for Professional Plus, which is unrestricted cameras or devices, you can say, where it supports centralized managing, multi-server architecture where it has multiple server. It can be centralized or it could be distributed architecture. Both you can utilize it as an architecture point of view. And so this Professional Plus supports edge storage, maps, normal maps, not a smart map. Smart map is more a Google map or a Bing map. It is purely on the basis. So this is related to the Professional Plus. When we see Expert and Corporate, this comes into advanced products, and Expert has features like smart maps. Smart map is nothing but if I want to use Google map or a Bing map or GIS map, I can use it through Expert and Corporate. Same if I want, on a cybersecurity point of view, if I want a encryption end-to-end with the media database encrypted on AES 256, so this Expert and Corporate can support. If you require a failover, then that's again a feature which gets added in the Expert and Corporate the system. So this is the complete altogether the product line of Milestone video management software.
Thank
So
you.
any questions on this? Yeah.
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Wesley, any other questions are there?
Wesley?
Wesley?
We can take 2 more questions. So if people want to raise hands, please feel free, and Wesley will give you the access so we can take 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Anybody raising hands, Wesley?
Anyone has been left in the chat? That also.
Yeah. Wesley, are you with us?
Yes, Mr. Amit Argawal, can you hear us? I've given you permission to speak.
I think Arindam, the voice is audio is having an issue. He's questioned something on a hardware PCI DSS compliance and some hardware chip to protect the cyber attack. I think Wesley, can you?
Yeah, Mr. Amit, if you could unmute yourself, then you should be able to speak.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Kalpesh. Hello.
Yeah, Amit. Yeah.
Yeah. Please tell me the N+1 and N+N configuration. Can you please explain it?
So we have 2 types of failover.
Okay.
You can say where N is to 1 and N+1. So when we tell N is to 1 means there are set of cameras, set of recording servers, and we have one failover server which is kept. Okay. So any of the recording server fails, this failover server takes care of that particular server. That could be 1, 2, 3, or more than that also. So you can, that's a NH2 1 kind of failover system, which is also known as cold standby. Whereas NH2N or 1:1, whatever you can say, it's dedicated server being handled for one-on-one. So if there are 4 recording server, you are putting 4 failover server dedicated to them for the system. So what is the advantage in this? So the advantage in the switching, because when you are talking about NH2N, the switching time is very minimum. So the cameras immediately, so the dedicated heartbeat has been checked off the recording server by the failover server. So that's a major difference in terms of cold and hot standby recording servers or failover servers.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
We have a question from Mr. Devashish and also from Rahul. What is the SLA in terms of failure for hard drives with VSS, and what is the installation support on site for those products?
Wesley, maybe you can answer these questions.
Sure. So VSS is the first line of support for any issues that occur on site. Let's say a hard drive fails, we will actually ask for the log report to be able to identify the drive that was failed. When it comes to diagnosing that issue, we will actually, next business day on site, raise a ticket with Dell, and then they will be able to come on site and replace that drive for you within the next business day. A hard drive will be delivered if that failure occurs, and this occurs outside of that as well. If the RAID controller fails, if anything regarding the chassis of that unit fails, all that is a part of our 5-year next business day on-site warranty. As long as the communication levels are met and all that's addressed, we will handle the remote support. And then when it comes to on-site delivery, we utilize our Dell support team to be able to justify that for you.
Wesley, I think there is a question from Arindam Badra. He's saying my audio hope has some issues. Sorry, my question is hardware has PCI DSS compliance. Is there any hardware chip to protect cyber attack? So Arindam, there are various ways to do it. In fact, coincidentally, yesterday I was talking to someone, one of our partners, that has a technology for protecting from cyber attack from at the application level itself on the hardware box. Okay, so this is possible by inserting certain PCI-based cards in the system as well. And PCI DSS is more about payment gateway type of compliance, but for cyber security, that's a different thing. So there is a US-based company which offers a solution that you can actually add to your servers. And what it does is that it actually checks the application. Like, for example, if it's Milestone running on this server, it will only let the Milestone related files to run in the system or the operating system and whatever is authorized to run. So it basically understands the application deeply from a DLL level, from a library level and all that. And anything outside that is trying to penetrate the system, it will block that and it will not allow it to penetrate. So it's more like a foolproof type of cyber security solution. But there are many solutions out there. This is just one example that you can utilize to enhance cyber security on your servers. And as BCD and VSS, we can consult you and guide you with the right technologies related to these type of implementations. I hope this answers your question, Arindam, but if not, please feel free to reach out to us directly and we can give you more detail. And I'm sure Kalpesh has more to talk on this topic.
Yeah, just to add more on that we have a hardening guide on our website to harden the system to restrict the cyber attacks. And that can be referred for the solution. And we always recommend our partners to apply that as a hardware. So complete guide has been defined. So as we are a GDPR company, we define the hardware guide, hardening guide for OS layer as well as, so which can also restrict the multiple cyber attacks.
Just to add to what Kalpesh said, VSS already hardens it for you from a hardening perspective.
Yeah.
And we, in the factory implementing the OS and everything. So we already follow the hardening. So that's another advantage. For the other question that somebody asked about, what's the difference from buying with Dell or HP versus buying from VSS? So you don't get any hardening done when you buy from those guys. You don't get the RAID controller pre-configured. We configured the RAID controller in the factory. So there are a lot of other nuances which are taken care of apart from just preloading the Milestone software that acts as a full benefit to you. Back to you, Wesley.
Thank you, everyone. We've got no more people raising their hand. Is there anything in particular that anybody would like to address before we close?
So we will send a follow-up email to everybody who participated today with some resources, and a lot of people have asked for the presentation. So we will share the slides that we can share in a PDF format to the group. And if anybody has specific questions, they are free to reach out our team, Mr. Siddharth, Mehta, Jitesh Shinde from Atos, the whole Atos team, Milestone team, Kalpesh, Sharad, all of us are available, and the VSS team, BCD video team, myself, Wesley, we are all available to you. We will also try to share some contacts for those of you who don't have our contact details in that follow-up email, so you guys know how to reach us, and we stay available to support you guys in any of your queries and making sure that we are all on the same page. Kalpesh, do you want to add anything to what I'm just saying?
Yeah, I think I have already inserted the email addresses of from our side. If you have any queries, you can always reach us, email us on the same, and we can help you out in the bit. So thank you everyone for participating with the great audience.
Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate your time, and we look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it.